churches are always looking for new ways to continue to reach their community and grow. But in a lot of cases, church leaders ignore some of the easiest low-hanging fruit and ways that their church can increase their impact in the community. Some of the world's greatest companies are giving us inside information about how we can reach even more people, how we can get our message out to more corners of the community. And so what would it look like for your church to actually look at some of the world's greatest marketers and take away best practices or new ideas to reach even more people in your community? What we're going to look at is 3 ways your church can benefit from studying the world's greatest marketers. What we see is that the world's greatest marketers invoke emotion. See, as I'm working with church leaders, sometimes they look at this phrase and they replace invoke emotion with provide information. And then the sentence would read, great marketers provide information. But whenever you just focus on providing information, you're actually missing a whole piece of the puzzle. When I look at church social medias, sometimes they look like this image right here. And it's just a bunch of graphics. But what do the world's leading marketers do? They actually invoke emotion. Check out this series from Chick-fil-A. We've all probably had Chick-fil-A. Some of you have had Chick-fil-A today. And if you look at their ads, they hardly ever mention their product, which is a chicken sandwich and waffle fries. Instead, they share the stories of what happens when you visit Chick-fil-A. See, it's much more than a meal. It's actually an experience with the community that cares. Check out this video of a story that they shared.
So I stopped in at Chick-fil-A for lunch and saw Officer Wilson come in. I decided to place a dine-in mobile order and have a cookie delivered to him just to show appreciation for his service for our community.
A few minutes later, I noticed that Officer Wilson had gotten up and left, and I knew he hadn't gotten his cookie yet.
I'm headed to my car. I turn around and I see Allie, and she's running after me.
Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Police Officer.
Usually when someone yells, officer, officer, they want to ask me about a ticket they got. I absolutely wanted the cookie. This cookie's delicious.
See, for church leaders, a lot of times we're just saying, visit us, visit us, visit us, visit us. And instead of sharing the story of what happens inside the church, inside of our community, we're just saying, come visit us, come visit us. See, that would just be like if Chick-fil-A was saying, chicken sandwich, buy now, Chick-fil-A sandwich, check out our sauce, try our new chicken nuggets. No, they do so much more. They invoke emotion and they share stories. So instead of saying, visit us, visit us, visit us, what if we instead talked about the story of a parent who said, my children got to experience community and friends unlike ever before whenever they came to a small group? What if instead of saying visit us, we said, I met Jesus Christ, gave my life to him, and I've never been to the same since, and we talk about a story of transformation that came through salvation? What if we told the story of a husband and wife who moved to a city and they were looking for community and they found that in a life group, and they now have a community that genuinely cares for them and supports each other? See, that is just a couple of ways that we can share stories. What a story does is it invokes emotion. People can then connect with that story, and people will then, if given a clear next step, will take action in ways that go far beyond just saying sign up for small groups or visit us on Sunday. It's a completely different thing. And as churches, we have the greatest story ever told. And I think that we're underutilizing the power of stories whenever we're marketing. So what would it look like to take a play out of Chick-fil-A's book and share stories throughout email, throughout social media, throughout our services on Sunday? So great marketers, we know they invoke emotion. Well, they also are extremely personal. Whenever I talk about the idea of being personal in the realm of marketing and communications, the first thing that church leaders generally say is, our church doesn't have time or the personnel to be personal. Well, to that I'd say, check out one of the biggest companies in the world. They're personal. Coca Cola. They took the time to put my name, your name, just about every name I can think of on their own product and made sure that it was in your city and every city across the United States and the world. That is crazy that one of the biggest organizations in the world can be personal to us. See, personal doesn't mean that it has to take a lot of time. There's a lot of tools out there that can help us be personal and honestly free us up so we can even be personal in even new ways than we are right now. And so in order to be personal, you've got to automate what can be automated. Things like response time to emails, things like welcome forms, things like processes on Sunday morning can be strategically planned and automated, freeing up your staff and your team and your volunteers to be personal in even new ways. Because small surprise and delights actually go a really long way. Can you think of a time when you were welcomed in a really personal way, or maybe you came to a meeting and someone had prepared a place for you, and it was something as small as a nameplate or a handwritten note or a gift that meant something to you? These small things along the way can go a long way, especially for someone who's already maybe a little bit nervous or feels like an outsider. Surprise and delights are a huge way we can be personal and take a play out of Coca Cola's book and be personal to the people that we're trying to reach in our community. So we know we want to invoke emotion like Chick-fil-A, and we want to be personal like Coca Cola. What if great marketers are also clear and consistent? See, the first thing that people are thinking about whenever they're interacting with your organization, with your church, is how does this impact me and what do I do next? I think the best company in the world at doing this is another really large company that I know you've heard of, Apple. You probably are watching this on an Apple device right now. Or if you're not, you're very familiar with Apple devices. See, Apple has some of the most complex machines, some of the most advanced machines that are available for the common consumer. But their marketing is extremely consistent and simple. Look at this ad right here. Life is easier on an iPhone. And that starts as soon as you turn it on. It's crazy how a complex device like an iPhone, like a computer, can be so simple in its marketing and even in its user experience. A lot of times whenever we're working with churches, when I'm working with churches, sometimes it feels like we're trying to reinvent the wheel and make things way more complicated than it actually is. But what if we were able to make it so clear and consistent for the people in our community that it only makes sense to take the next step? Yes, we're looking for life to be more simple. So of course the choice is going to be an iPhone. Everyone else has an iPhone, so why don't we take that next step? For your church, this starts with your brand. Does your brand have a strong enough presence, clear guidelines, clear best practices so that it can be recognized in the community? Is it clear and consistent? Are there clear fonts, images, and designs that make sure that your logo can be recognized across the community? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. Then, what are you asking people to do? What are you asking your members to do? What are you asking new potential members to do? Are you on the same page about what you're asking people to do? If you're on the same page, are you asking it in a clear and consistent way so that they're hearing the same message over and over again? If the answer to both of those are yes, well then you're well on your way to being just like Apple. If the answer is no, then those are some great conversations that you can have with your church staff and high-level volunteers to make sure we're all on the same page about what we're doing next. What is next? How's it going to impact me? What do I do next? Now, the final question that you need to ask, and this is something that Apple is just amazing at, are you providing something that the community actually wants? Apple knows what you need, and they also know what you need that you don't even know you need yet. Think about how powerful it is whenever you're trying to log in and Apple sends you a security code and it just shows up at the top of your little keypad and you can just press the button and it automatically puts in the keypad or the keyword. No one was asking for that, but Apple did the research to know that that would be helpful. They came up with a way to provide it, and now they provide it, and now what would we do without it? The inconvenience of having to go to our messages and then go back to where we were trying to sign in, who could fathom? What would that look like for your church? What is your community telling you and they're not telling you about what they need? Do they need more activities over the summer to help provide childcare? Do they need a service on Thursday night because they're always working on Sunday? Do they need a specific ministry that reaches out to different communities within the community? What do they need? What are they telling you and what are they not telling you? And how can you be clear and consistent whenever you're sharing that message? See, what we know is that we have a huge opportunity. The field in a lot of ways is ready for harvest. As we've looked at church attendance trends for the last decade and a half, it's been going down, and just recently we saw that trend hopefully hit the bottom because this past year it's actually increased. The number of people involved in church in the United States has increased since the previous year. And so we know there's opportunity out there, but the question for us is, how are we gonna be involved in that? The Lord is moving, God is moving in your community, in your area, and it's our responsibility to join them there. I think that learning from some of the companies, the largest companies in our country, is a way that we could even better reach the families in our community and even more effectively get our messaging out about our local church. So here's my challenge for you as you watch this video. How can you inspire your team to invoke emotion, be personal, and be clear and consistent, just like Chick-fil-A, just like Coca Cola, just like Apple, but with an even greater message as you seek to reach new families in your community? Us here at Connect Ministries are here to support you in whatever way you can. And so if you're thinking, maybe I would like some extra support whenever it comes to marketing and communications, feel free to reach out to our team. You can check how to do that in the description. You can also connect with our team, and we'd love to brainstorm ideas with you. Feel free to reach out to us and know that we're pulling for you, that we're praying for you, and we can't wait to see how the Lord is moving in your community here real soon.